and welcome to Yoga Club. I'm Jess. This is your place for learning, fun, games, stretching and relaxing. Let's come into our big circle so we can do our big arm together. Come to sit on your bottoms, cross your legs, rest your hands on your knees, and when you're ready, close your eyes. We always start with a few big breaths, don't we? So big breath in, filling your belly, and big breath out to blow it all out. 2 more times before we do our big Om together. Big breath in, big breath out. Take another big breath in, the biggest breath that you've taken all day long. And then let it all out, maybe with a little sigh this time. Now we're ready for our big Om together. So take a big breath in. Let's do our big Om to start our practice. Beautiful. Slowly open your eyes and take a look round at your friends. Give them a big smile and let's all bow to each other and thank each other for showing up today. Take our hands to our hearts and we bow and say Namaste to each other. Well done. So what did we learn last week? We learned about thought bubbles, we learned some new yoga poses, and we also learned a little bit more about sun salutations, didn't we? Today we'll be learning about how you can make this yoga practice your own. Now yoga looks different for everyone. Some people prefer balancing postures. That's like tree, dancer, and half moon. Some people prefer strengthening postures. That's postures like plank, dolphin, and some people like to relax with mindfulness methods. So come into your 2s and 3s now and tell each other which one you prefer and maybe even demonstrating some of the postures. I'll be here practicing with my breath. Big breaths in and big breaths out. So, did you all get a chance to tell each other what kind of practice you prefer? And did you see how different people prefer different things? We also learned a lot about different mindfulness practices, didn't we? So far, we've learned about the Magic 10, the Guard Dog and the Owl, the power of listening, thoughts bubbles, oh yes I can, and be in the pond. Which one is your favourite? So come back into your 2s and 3s and tell your friends which one you like the most and why it helps you. Again, I'll be here practicing my breathing. Big breaths in and big breaths out. Did you get a chance to talk about the different mindfulness techniques? We all prefer different ones because our minds all work differently. And we also prefer different yoga postures because all our bodies are different. Everybody is different, and that's what's so amazing about it. After all, it would be really boring if everyone was the same. So today we're going to be playing Dance Yoga Freeze again, but this time with a twist. Before we do that though, I've got some new yoga poses I want to show you. Some of these you may already know, so I'm going to make them a little bit more difficult for you. Are you ready for the challenge? I knew you would be. Let's get started. So come onto your feet. We're going to come into a lunge, or as you might remember it, grasshopper pose. Let's come to the top of your mat, or find yourself some space if you don't have a mat. When you breathe in, let's reach the arms all the way up like we're doing sun salutations. But let's wiggle the fingers all the way down straight away. Bend your knees and fold your bodies down. We'll bring both hands onto the ground and step one of our foot back into lunge pose. So you can stay here, or if you want to make it a little bit more difficult, you can take your hands to your hips and lift your body up. And then maybe lift one hand up and the other hand up. Reaching your arms up towards the sky. Maybe staying here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Now if that was a little bit tricky, you can lower your back knee. And then maybe lift one hand and the other hand. Can we stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Bring both hands back onto the ground. We'll lift the knee and then we'll step the foot back to the top of the mat. Let's do it on the other side, shall we? So let's step the opposite foot back. This time we'll go with the easy version first. So lower your knee and then we take our hands to our hips. Lift your body up. And let's lift one hand up and the other hand up. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Now, are we ready for the more tricky version? Let's lift our back knee and then we'll stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Both hands on the ground. We step that back foot to the top of the mat. We bend our knees, fold our bodies down, and then we take a hold of the opposite elbows and rock from side to side. This is called ragdoll. Big breaths in and big breaths out. And we'll stay here, breathing deeply. This feels really nice for my lower back. Another big breath in and another big breath out. Well done. Let's come into our next position. It's going to be warrior 3. So we bring both hands onto the ground and we step one of our toes back into lunge pose. Can we lift our arms up towards the sky? Good job. Now bring your hands to the back and pretend like you're getting ready to take off. We're going to shift our weight to the front foot and maybe we can lift that back foot off the ground. Warrior 3, or you can also call this one airplane. Can we balance here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Slowly come back to stand on both of your feet. Let's take it to the other side, shall we? So big breath in to reach the hands all the way up, and then we'll wiggle the fingers all the way down onto the mat. Let's step the opposite foot back, and then can we lift our arms up, and then maybe sweeping your hands behind you. Getting ready to take off. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, blast off, and we'll lift that back foot. Staying here in your airplane pose or warrior 3 for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come back to the middle. Well done, everyone. Let's take a little rest in child's pose. That was a little bit difficult. So come onto your knees. We'll take our knees wide, our big toes to touch, bottoms towards your heels. Walk the hands away from your body. Big breath in. When you breathe out, rest your forehead down onto the mat. Big breaths in and big breaths out. And remember that you can always find a child's pose if things get a little bit difficult. I love child's pose. It's one of my favorites. I love how yoga helps me to relax. But I also love trying difficult postures and positions. It really tests my body. And when I do them, I'm really surprised at myself. So I try to aim a little bit higher and try a different pose. Every time I come to practice, I try something new. And that's what makes yoga so much fun. Are you ready for the next position? Slowly come back onto your hands and knees. Come back to your hands and knees. We're coming to lizard pose. So curl your toes under and push up into downward facing dog. Wag your tail and take your dog for a walk. You can even nod the head yes and no. And then on your next big breath in, you're going to lift one of your toes up. This is three-legged dog. And then we're going to squeeze your knee in towards your chest and step that foot up. From here, you're going to heel toe that foot out and bring your hands in. This is lizard. Now, if you want to make things a little bit easier for yourself, you can bring your knee onto the ground. If you want to make things a little bit more difficult, you can lower down onto your elbows. Can we stay in your lizard for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Slowly come back onto the hands. And then we'll heel toe that foot back in. Both hands on the ground. We'll lift that back knee. Get ready. We're going to come back into that 3-legged dog. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. 3-legged dog. Well done. And let's bring that foot back down. Let's take our dog for a walk. Wag your tail. Nod the head yes and no. Let's come to the other side. So on your next big breath in, you'll lift the opposite foot. 3-legged dog. And let's squeeze your knee in towards your heart and step that foot in between your hands. And then we'll heel toe that foot out. Bring both hands onto the ground. It's up to you if you'd like to make things more difficult or harder for yourself. So you can be here with your knee down, or you can lower onto your elbow. And let's stay here on the other side for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done, everyone. You're doing so good. Come back onto your hands. We'll heel toe that foot back in. Are you ready to come back into 3-legged dog? So lift your knees and we'll come back into 3-legged dog. Or if this is too difficult, you can just step through. You can come back into downward facing dog. And let's wag your tail. Shake the head yes and no and take your dog for a walk. You're doing so great. Big breath in, big breath out. Next, we're coming into pigeon pose. So on your next big breath in, we'll lift the right foot. Coming into 3-legged dog again. This time, let's bring your right knee behind your right wrist into pigeon pose. And we'll walk the back knee towards the back of the mat into pigeon. If you're up for the challenge, you can come onto your elbows and stay in here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. And we'll come back onto the hands. If you can, from here, you can lift your back knee and come back into downward facing dog. Wag your tail and take your dog for a walk. Let's do it on the other side. So big breath in to lift your left foot this time. And this time your left knee behind your left wrist. And we come to pigeon on the other side. So you can stay here on your hands. Or if you want a challenge, you can come onto your elbows. And we'll stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing work, everyone. Come back onto your palms. We'll lift the back knee and come back to downward facing dog. Remember to wag your tail and take your dog for a walk. And let's lower all the way down onto our belly and take a little rest. Rest your forehead on your hands and sway your body from side to side. That feels good, doesn't it? Big breath in and big breath out. And then slowly you're going to lift your head and bring your elbows down onto the ground. You're going to spread into your star fingers and really press into the ground to lift your body up into Sphinx pose. Let's stay in your Sphinx pose and breathe deeply. Big breath in, big breath out. Close your eyes and notice if there's any thought bubbles coming up. Use your breath to blow those thought bubbles away. Big breath in, big breath out. And then slowly you're going to tuck your toes under. Are you ready for a challenge? We're going to tuck the toes under and lift our bodies up into forearm plank. Can we stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly lower down. Well done. Take a little rest. Rest your forehead on your hands and sway your body from side to side. That was a little bit difficult. Just a few more postures and we'll be ready for our game. Let's come into bow pose. We're going to bend into our legs and then take our hands to our feet. Big breath in. When you breathe out, you're going to kick your legs up towards the sky and lift your body up. Let's stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly lower down on the 1. Well done, everyone. Let's press back up and take a little rest in child's pose. Come onto your hands and knees. Take your knees wide, big toes to touch. Sit bones towards your heels. Walk the hands away from your body and take a little rest in child's pose. Big breath in, big breath out. And let's take 2 breaths on your own. And slowly lift up your head. Make your way into your downward facing dog. When you get into your dog pose, wag your tail and take your dog for a walk. On your next big breath in, bend your knees and look to your hands. You're going to crisscross, crisscross and walk all the way to your hands. Take your feet together and when you breathe in, you're going to reach all the way up towards the sky. Bring your hands to your hearts. Take a bow and say Namaste. Well done. Slowly bring your hands to your side. Come into your mountain pose. Can you stand nice and tall like a mountain? Big breath in, big breath out. On your next big breath in, you're going to bring your hands forward and come to sit in an imaginary chair. Pretend like you're holding a big beach ball out in front of you. Can we stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bring your hands to your hearts and let's twist to one side. Bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee and try to bring your heart to your hands. Maybe looking up. We'll stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 to come back to the middle. To the other side now, your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. And we'll stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 to come back to the middle. Well done, everyone. Let's fold our bodies down. Come back into your ragdoll. Your hands to your elbows and sway from side to side. And slowly release your elbows and roll up as slow as you can go. Take your time. There's no need to rush. We have plenty of time. Your head is the last to come up and we come back into our mountain pose, standing nice and tall, pretending like there's a string pulling your body up, your spine nice and long. Roll the shoulders back. 1, 2, and 3. Well done. Close your eyes and see if there's any thought bubbles floating around. Use your breath to help you. Now we're all ready for dance, yoga, freeze. This time we're going to play it a little bit differently. So come to sit on your bottoms while we listen to these instructions. You can cross your legs. I'm going to be playing you some music. So when you hear the music, you dance your heart out. But when the music stops, there'll be a yoga pose on the screen. This time, do not copy the yoga pose. Your job is to freeze in anything other than the yoga pose on the screen. Now, there's no cheating, you have to do a yoga pose, but make sure that it's not the one on the screen. This game takes a lot of concentration and it's going to test your listening skills. Are you ready? Fantastic, let's get started. I hope you enjoyed Dance Yoga Freeze. When you're ready, let's come back down to sit on our bottoms. And we'll come to lie down all the way onto our backs, letting our bodies rest. Close your eyes and practice whichever mindfulness exercise you like, whether that's thought bubbles, the magic 10, or using your listening powers to relax. Whichever technique you're using, make sure you're taking some big breaths in and big breaths out. Listen to the music and rest your body. Big breath in, big breath out. Whenever you're ready, let's come back to our bodies by wiggling our fingers and toes. Maybe slowly rocking the head from side to side. And if you like, you can take a big stretch. Take your hands together and push the palms away, and then point your toes away from your body. Let's give ourselves a big hug. Hug your knees into your chest. Well done, everyone. When you're ready, roll over to one side and find your way to sit on your bottoms. Keep your eyes closed for just a little bit longer. Cross your legs, and then we bring our hands to our hearts, and we always end the same way, don't we? So let's take a big breath together. When you breathe out, we bow the head and we say our special yoga word, Namaste. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Slowly open your eyes and come back to the room. Well done, everyone, for showing up today, and thank you so much for practicing yoga with me. I hope you had a lot of fun today, and I hope you find ways to make your yoga practice your own. I'll see you next time for our yoga club. Bye bye now.